penyamun di dalam negeri. Kami penyamun di dalam ini negeri, kerja merompak, menciluk dan mencuri. Tidak memilih mas intan kerbau sabi, asal yang boleh ku bawa lari. Kami penyamun, penyamun.
Cities will become increasingly populous as the world population grows. As a result, there will be an increase in the number of individuals with disabilities living in cities. As cities increase in size, we must consider how they are constructed and whom they are serving. People with impairments come in many ages, genders, races, and ethnicities. Cities have been developed for far too long without considering how physical and social barriers impact individuals with disabilities. Disabled Accessible Cities, or known as Impian Heights, was designed to focus on all rights of human beings, and it was also meant to provide a resilient environment for people without jeopardizing future generations' capacity to enjoy the same experience. Why accessibility is vital in building cities is because there are not enough individuals with disabilities participating in city planning. Including more individuals with disabilities in the planning process allows planners to consider many sorts of exclusion and barriers that people experience in their daily lives. If housing, transportation, education, employment, health service, and information technology are not accessible, people with disabilities will face risks of discrimination. As a result of this exclusion, few people will participate in educational opportunities, employment, and governmental policy and political participation. An inclusive city is one in which everyone has access to everything and feels empowered to do so. As a result, persons of all abilities have an elevated chance of living independently. The model handicap accessible cities underlying foundations, assumption, state-of-the-art research and development, research prospect and vistas, rising scientific and technical trends, and future planning practices are all covered in this project charter. The goal of this disabled accessible city is to develop and provide a better quality of life for future generations without forgetting about those who are left behind. The idea for this disabled-friendly city is inspired by the city of Chicago, Illinois, one of the world's greatest cities with a close-knit handicapped community that are celebrated annually with the Disability Pride Parade. Taking things a step further, the city has also hired a university to assess the accessibility of buildings, services, walkways, and businesses to make the city's well-known shopping and attractions even more accessible to disabled visitors. This initiative focuses on the importance of reviewing present facilities and infrastructures to see whether they benefit the handicapped community. We can tell from our own experiences that the present facilities and infrastructures are not very accommodating to disabled people. Every day, the community struggles without our knowledge.
So in this topic, I will explain about the disabled accessibility height, about the project descriptive and measurable project objective and related criteria for successful project. For the project descriptive, most of the significant cities nowadays ignore the needs of the disabled people, making them feel not welcome in the area. As city life always go fast, where people move from one place to another, the disabled seem to be forgotten, even though they also have place to go and things to do. This project will help with cities for diversity, where inclusion and equality are becoming more critical. The requirement of disabled accessibility are facilities that could help and improve the life of disabled people. Example of the facilities include tactile paving for every pedestrian walkway to aid the visual impaired individual. Direction signs will also have braille, which can help a visually impaired person. Recreation facility is accessible for all disabilities to ensure the opportunity to live a healthier life is equal. Besides that, a ramp must be placed on the complex to access buildings or walkways to aid people using a wheelchair. An online application will also be developed which has hotline support to assist disabled people if they ever face any difficulties. The ticket machine, equipped with a braille button for interaction and speaking functions to aid deaf people, will be placed in public transportation areas. Wheelchair facilities will also be available for usage for disabled people. Traffic lights in the city will be changed into the shapes that could help people with color blindness become more aware. The city will also enforce basic sign language in primary and secondary school, removing the communication barriers. Finally, security personnel will be dispatched and shall be roaming through the streets to ensure safety and to aid disabled people while ensuring the facilities are taken care of from the vandalism act. So for this project, the objective is the goal of this project is to construct an urban city that is accessible to individuals of all abilities. Next one is to create a city where everyone has equal access to opportunities and to construct a city that meets the needs of everyone. And finally, the objective is to establish a city in which advanced technology is utilized for documentation, management, and other purposes. To establish a city which advanced technology is okay, nothing. So the next one is criteria. First criteria is the financial data that is comprehensive and detailed as well as roadmap for the entire strategy. Stakeholders and sponsors are being enlisted to help direct and fund this initiative. That one is enough funds to keep this project going until it is completed. And finally, the criteria is it is necessary to set clear and realistic goals.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. Continue on the disabled accessible city of Impian Height, where we will discuss on the project risk management and assumption, limitation, and challenges. Okay, next is project risk management. There are the identified risks, which is technology, project, and people. This identified risk will determined by the circumstances or how do these risks produce. And first we see the from the people perspective, the risk is from the lack of the participation to the project from the people. Next is the project itself, which is the risk from the internal and external, such as reform project does not deliver to the required standard or within the time constraint, and the risk that the reform project does not proceed or change significantly around the time and scope. These two explain that the project time management for the project does not meet the requirement. And the last one is technology, which is the difficulty of the new technology and understanding through the manual and the danger that the new technology pose or create along the process. The technology itself can produce the risk to the whole project of disabled accessible cities. Okay, next. Okay, next is assumption, limitation, and challenges, which is on the before, after, and between the process of the project of this disabled accessible city. And this assumption is based on the predicament or prediction for the future of the project, such as delivery date, timeliness, seamless of the mobility for the transport, commitment to the project, funding from the other company to the project, and overall the change will happen to the project itself. And for the limitation, we can see we have an assumption on the quality and the resource to the project, and for the project itself to the other surrounding economic. Next is challenges. The challenges that will happen after, before, or between the project itself. The assumption that we can conclude is on the economic challenges, miscommunication which can cause conflict, and insufficient team or team skill to the project itself.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Sofi Ikram. Today, I'm going to present the timelines and milestones regarding our project. The implementation of the Smart City proposal is designed for a period of 6 years. The project are scheduled in such a way that it is in accordance with the available timeline and the fund flow that we have. The implementation of the proposal have 3 phases, which are in the phase 1, setting up of SPV agreement and other administrative activities. In phase 2, which we call the design phase, and the last phase is the implementation phase. From year 0 to year 2, we carry out stage 1, which is setting up of the SPV and other administrative activity, the formation of an special purpose vehicle, which is SPV, application system for the city to adapt, and the construction of an administrative structure for the sign language education, city council administrative structure, and more. This is the first step in this project. Next, we go through the stage 2 process. In the stage 2, which is called the design phase. In this design phase, there will be discussion with the client and other stakeholders on the preliminary design stage. This include in the preparation of the master plan, design criteria, assessing and forecasting infrastructure demand for stage-wise development. The preparation of this conceptual infrastructure plan, such as the recreational parks, implementation of traffic lights, crossing lights with shapes for the color blindness, tactile for the roadways, ramp or rail bar for the disabled. The design is followed by the process of management for the execution of specific infrastructure component, which focus on the creation of the tender document that include all the associated design. On the year 4 to the year 6, we plan to start our stage 3, which is the implementation stage. This is the last stage of our project. In this stage, we begin all the activities that have started in the second year of the project at the design phase, which is stage 2. Implementation phase are the final phase of output from those implementation that we did on phase 2.
Now for the last slide will be the financial planning and budget of our disabled accessible city. Firstly is the disabled friendly signage equipped with braille information that will be cost around 500 ringgit per unit times by 100 unit. Total cost will be 50,000 ringgit. Tactile paving for visual impaired individual, the cost per unit is 5 ringgit and 50 cents times by 5,000 unit. The total cost including installation would be 35,500 ringgit. A portable mobile RAM, the cost per unit is Rm888.51 times by 40 units. The total cost including installation is 40,541 ringgit. An online application made for disabled people, Rm500,000 ringgit. Creating new and upgrading existing recreational parks costs around 400,000 ringgit. Next is custom traffic light that is friendly for people with blind colors. Cost per unit is Rm700 ringgit times by 30 unit. The total cost would be Rm21,000. Next is a ticket machine with speaking and braille buttons. The cost per unit is Rm10,000 ringgit times by 10 unit. So the total cost would be Rm100,000 ringgit. Next is a basic sign language programs in primary and secondary school would cost around 300,000 ringgit. A security personnel of 10 people with wage of 1,100 per month for 6 years, the total cost would be Rm792,000. Finally, wheelchair facilities that is cost around 500 ringgit times by 40 unit, which equals to Rm20,000 ringgit. The total investment of these disabled accessible cities is Rm2,259,041 ringgit.